after you put into the fire, what is the chemical content, and what assets you get out of it. So it's all part of learning, but in reality. They also learn how to make cement rings that you buy in shops. All these, the girls can do it the same. Our girls are as good as the boys. In fact, they're a bit better. And every student must sit in a wheelchair for 1 day per month to learn about the difficulties of people in wheelchairs and to realize how little the country is doing for people with disabilities, to get them to have sympathy and empathy. And now they're doing a project to try to generate donations of wheelchairs secondhand from right around the world. They will give it to other schools and get other students in schools to do the same thing, and within a year, next year, to hope to write a letter to society, every aspect of society, to say that we must do more for people with disabilities. They can't get on trains, can't get on buses, can't get in taxis. I'm talking about wheelchairs, but many more. So we need to do more. We are short of wheelchairs, we're certainly not short of tanks. Also, we are disciplined. King Rama V got rid of slavery soon after 1900, but now we've become slaves of the telephone, quite voluntarily. So you're allowed to use telephone for 1 hour per week. You must write 3 letters, one to somebody important, somebody, your parent, and your friend. These are 3 types of languages. Teachers only teach you 1, so they do that. And on the day they get their telephone, they do not eat an evening meal. Not because of any religious reason, but to learn about hunger. You cannot learn from a book. You have to be hungry to realize what it means to have the pains and the hunger pains, and to realize there must be at least 1 billion people tonight that are not eating. So you must do whatever you can to make sure none of your brothers and sisters in the villages go hungry. So again, these are the things that you learn, not from a book. And these are not taught in ordinary schools. We're doing it to show that it can be done. And all these kids who come down from Buffalo's backs, underprivileged, have become great citizens, that you can do it. It's the opportunity. And every student must play music. Ukulele, they play the ukulele. Everyone has one. And they play it, they learn, they play it elsewhere. And once a week they do the cooking and sell the food to the school. And the school buys it, gives to all the students. But this is just one of the business days. Other businesses, such as ice cream, but all must share. 30% of your profits must be given to kids in the villages who are deserving. Fruit juices, smoothies, chickens. We have 2,000 chickens to be sold. If you want some, we can deliver some to the expat club. Fresh eggs, organic, and not jail egg, not the chickens in jail in little cages. They're free range and organic. So if you want some, the students can deliver it after 2 days. So very, very fresh. And of course, they learn music. Also, the chickens hear music when they're laying eggs. And they also go to the market in interaction with the people in the villages. And we have goat racing. Goat is a very, very good future. Doesn't take much to rear, but a very good return, either milk or meat or live. And making our own soap. If you want some soap made, students can make it for you. And they make fashion products. We have people from the outside to go and train. Now, all of you with so much skill around this room, if you're interested in imparting some of your skills to them, please let me know. We'll be delighted. And also, this is making paper from vegetables and fruit with no chemicals at all. So you can have your name card printed on pineapple or durian paper, on whatever you want, on rose paper, pineapple, and then they'll make the name card for you. And so we don't have to cut down trees to make it. So the students are now in the village training elderly women to make these, and they're buying from them, and very good for the papers for the computer. So I can send some for you to look at in the future. And we can leave it on the table for you. And so here they are training the villagers how to do this. So it's very simple. You just need what do you make the smoothies from? What do you call it? Blender. Molinex or a blender, and then you have a rice cooker, that's all. And then you put it on the screen afterwards. being dried out of many sizes. This is usually done, taught to third-year university, tissue culture. We do it to grade 7. We bring everything we can down from the university down to secondary school level. And just like computers in your days, when we were kids, what do we know about computers? Look at today. So we've got to bring a lot down. And from one coconut, from one banana tree, within a year and a half, you can make it into 5,000. So it's very good replication. They can do this later on and still stay at home without having to migrate. And after business between 2 and 4, then they have sports. In the dome and elsewhere. And of course you can, in the West you have rowing and so on. This is our style of exercise. And also we have a swimming pool given to us by an American company, Hasbro, that makes all sorts of toys. And it's used to get kids from the outside to come in. 80% of children in the Northeast cannot swim. 4 drown every day. It's the highest rate of birth, cause of death amongst young children. And the rate of drowning in Thailand is 5 to 15 times higher than developed countries. So we bring them in. We get some companies or individuals to help sponsor the transportation cost for the kids to come in. And in 10 lessons of 2 hours, then they can swim. And it's life-saving as well. So we tell people who want to come down and train them as swimmers, from Australia, from other countries, during the holidays. We'll take care of everything. You just need to arrive here and you train them how to save lives. So I told Australian students that you will save more lives than Australian doctors abroad. So if you want to sponsor anything, you're very welcome. But come and take a look first. Every Tuesday, our students go out in the community. We're trying to turn our students into future teachers. So they go out every Tuesday to teach primary schools. There are 10 around the school. They prepare who teaches math, English, science, and so on. They also teach them dental hygiene, because 80% of Thai children in primary schools have dental problems. And I've just talked to Stuart about maybe doing some floss with them in the future. And so, also sex education. Our students are very good at teaching sex education to primary school kids. We ask them when's your birthday, and they explain what month. And then we say, when were you made? They have to go back 9 months. I say, do you know how you were made, don't you? And so the kids understand. Very, very simple and scientific. And we also help to establish a farm for the school. Again, this is funded by the private sector. Each school will have a farm or social enterprise and it'll earn income for the school, and the parents can then borrow money, and the students can borrow money to do business in agriculture and other businesses. So all the schools around us, 10 schools, we help to do this. If you would like to sponsor a school around Pattaya, we'll be happy to go half and half with you. You put up 1 baht, we'll put up 1 baht. Whatever you put up, we'll put up. Again, so the kids now learn how to grow vegetables and make money, and now they have a skill that they can use at home. And also on nutritional values, this is working with Unilever and Knorr to help them about better understanding of nutrition of food and the issues of health, diabetes, high blood pressure. Our kids go out and we get volunteer doctors to join them. So this is helping work with health with the elderly. And we were given the solar panels from Pajak Petroleum, so we don't have to spend too much money on electricity. We use it as a nice car park. And the batteries at night. And each panel is now onto a push cart, and it's made into a pump, so it's mobile for water pump for your vegetables. And also it can go in the back of a motorbike from house to house. So it's made by the students now, and they're selling it. And also making solar torches. On the front you can see it's face the sun. On the back you can use it to charge mobile telephones. And this is when the student made 100 and gave it to the President of Parliament to be given to Nepal after the earthquake. As it turned out, not only as a flashlight, turned out to be the only source of battery for their mobile telephones in Nepal. Now the UN has made it part of their package, but it began with the students giving this to them. These are rural students. And every holiday, we get a job for them to work in. In fact, they're at Centara, just finished doing entertainment for the guests. And they're working in many, many jobs. If you want to be a restaurant owner, you want to work in a hotel, you will get your job. So if you anyone in this room has a facility to entertain and employ these kids, let me know. From grade 8 upwards, they work. And working in Shell gas stations, Microsoft, True Coffee, pharmaceutical company, IKEA. IKEA employs 10 each holiday, and also Microsoft. And so that these students are trained in business skills as well as agriculture. And we also let the parents borrow money to do business to get out of poverty. So the school in the future must be a hub for social and economic advancement. It can do so much. We have almost 40,000 schools in Thailand. And this can be done in any country. I'm talking to several ambassadors to do it on the border, so that schools, the kids from Myanmar, and teachers from Myanmar, from Laos, Cambodia, come over and see, and they will begin to do some of their schools, turn their schools into lifelong learning centers and hubs for development in those countries also. And at school, our agriculture is concentrated on little land, little water, and little labor. Very good for elderly people, and very good for people with disabilities and who are sick. And the soil is bad, we make our own soil. And in PVC baskets, you can move them when there's a flood. And these are baskets, boom, or morning glory, but boom. Don't need any good soil at all. On cement, on rocks, you can do it. So the roots come down to eat the food and water and fertilizer down below. And these are all vegetables. These are not decorative plants. You can eat them all. And any sort of vegetable. And kids learn this at school and take it home. And harvest is money time for students. Mushrooms, 200% net profit. Melon, you can use it in small containers using tissue culture. And design emblem on it. You can see it's a Shell emblem being supplied to Shell. And here's the chairman of Shell with his melon. So in other words, they have to think of marketing as well as production. And the students, these are our girls making hydroponic from PVC pipe, hydroponic systems. They know how to do this. They help in 50 schools a year. And using bamboo also. And elderly people from the outside the school come and learn how to do many aspects, including agriculture. So they come to the school and we do this, and we have a loan fund for all the people in the villages who are needy. And once you've learned, we ask them to help to teach other people. And from wheelchair in the school classroom into wheelchair agriculture, the students started saying, why don't we use wheelchair and agriculture together? So that's what's happened now. We've become a training center for people in wheelchairs. We've also helped the school down here in Pattaya. And this is a group from Sisangwan School. These are children in wheelchairs in the northeast and Bangkok. Come to learn from us. Then afterwards we went with the help of the private sector to build a farm. So these kids, when they leave school, can go home with a bit of a loan fund and grow vegetables for a source of income without having to look for a job anywhere, which is almost impossible to find. They can stay at home in the comfort of the family, the neighbors that they know, and to be able to do this. So this is now being done in their schools. And when the Deputy Prime Minister went there, he has to also sit in a wheelchair. If you go there, you'll be asked to sit in a wheelchair. and then you'll experience what it's like. And also help to establish the farms in 50 schools a year. We call this our School Bird project, school-based integrated rural development, whereby we do the farm in the school, and then the villagers can learn from it, and there's a loan fund for students and a loan fund for parents. Just quickly go through what it looks like. So we have 50 schools, and if you're interested in picking a school in Pattaya, we'll match you. And our students will come and help to do it, and of course you would be very welcome to come take a look. And so that's what it's called. It's called school and student-based integrated rural development. Firstly, the community must come in. A mistake is to do it with the school. It's got to be with the community and the school. Then after we organize everything, then we take in all the stuff. We do all the buying, all the equipment, materials go in. The villagers come in and join in. Any facilities that's needed. This is in Krabi. We do it in 40 provinces at the moment. This is in Krabi. They're growing vegetables and lemon, lime, on rocks, but in these baskets. And the parents have all joined in. And artwork is added to agriculture by the students. These are not our ideas, it's their ideas. On small stone, on gravel, on cement. You can go anywhere. So these are now, we've done about 158 schools. And of course, a big return on mushrooms. Only need to water once a week. Hydroponics in these schools. Our students make the system, introduce it, train them, and then leave it to them, and we follow up every month with staff members. And now harvest time with the students. And they make good money. It's like exam time with money. And part of the food is vegetables bought by the school and cooked for the students. And other schools now come to these schools to learn, and other students come to these students. So they're passing on the knowledge, the skill to others. And you have a loan fund. They must save first. And so these are some of the businesses the students are involved with. Mostly agriculture, but also some food, some sweets. Mushrooms, crispy mushrooms. And this is my favorite. 7th grade 4 students borrowed 10,000 baht to raise these chickens and did their own packaging. And so they've learned how to do this. And they like to come to school early in the morning. School is no longer like a battlefield. It's more like a movie theater. And so parents can also borrow money, but these are poor parents. Mostly they are elderly people. We have 6 million children living with grandparents because the parents are in town, because there's no job, no source of income in the village. And this has to be fixed up in the long term. So mostly grandparents who borrow money to do business, buy vegetables or chilies, mushrooms, baskets, cloth weaving, silk weaving, hairdo, ducks, and now we're also helping children who are deaf with hearing impairment, so that they can go home when they finish school and learn how to grow vegetables and make a source of income without having to become a stranger anywhere else. They're already known and loved in their own community. Let them earn this in their own community. That's a boarding school provided by the government. Then they now have the market in town buying everything from them. Then this is our work with children in wheelchairs in Sisangwan schools, named after the king's mother in Chiang Mai, Khon Kaen, and Bangkok. So now they can learn how to grow vegetables from a wheelchair. We just raise the container higher up so that they can touch it. And there's a wall, and a cement wall, and then we put some plastic bottles and coffee mugs in, tissue culture and put the stuff in there. Hydroponics from PVC pipes. Chilies. So now they can do all of that. Before they didn't do it. The government didn't do it. The universities didn't do it. United Nations FAO didn't do it. So the school kids did it. So now it's spreading. So they can now stay home and earn a very good income. And now we've done it for the blind. They came to us, can you help us to grow vegetables for the blind? We said, okay, let's try. So our students taught with them, went and spent 8 days with them, taught them how to do it. Firstly, getting their hands dirty in the mud. Then afterwards, when it's already growing, there's braille on the side to tell you what sort of vegetable it is. And hydroponics. And now they're learning how to smell the different types of vegetables to know what sort of vegetable it is. And you can see the two boys are twins there, they're both blind. And our students in the blue spend time talking with them, ask them what it is, what's life like, what don't you like to hear? And they don't like to hear people ask them, how long have you been blind? That's just you better know them. And they have taught our students how to do braille. So there's no one-way traffic. So now our students have learned how to do braille. They'll be writing to each other in braille. And we're also getting our students to learn sign language from the teachers, from the kids who are deaf, so that we can now talk to 300,000 Thais that we couldn't talk to before. We could talk to Germans, and Italians, and Australians, and English, but we couldn't talk to 300,000 Thais who are deaf. Now we can. Yet I think it will make them a better person. And then now our kids have to also go blind and see what it's like for the kids who are blind, to admire them and say, my gosh, they can do so much. And now we're doing this at Backwoods School now, whereby they have to go blindfolded for 1 day per month with the help of a cane and somebody else to appreciate and to realize that we must do more for people who are at the end of the line. This is a way of trying to generate generosity and sharing and kindness. And now here they're teaching us Braille. And then the Ministry of Welfare, Social Welfare, came to us and said, look, we like what you're doing with the farms in the school. Can you help us set up farms for beggars? I said, okay, we'll do anything. So I went to IKEA and said, look, can we use some of the money that you've given us to do this? So we helped to set up a farm. We call it a school for beggars, so that they can be trained and then go home with a loan fund to do vegetables in their home village. So this is what's now happening just out of Bangkok. Our students went and did all this. And for the ladies as well as the men. So our students get to be in touch with all sorts of issues. And then finally, this is an interesting picture. Our students helping Mahidol University Agricultural Faculty set up a farm. I belong to the council of Mahidol, and I said that the university must help other schools and bring the students from the schools into the university to take a look at things. So I gave them a farm to teach, but their agricultural students didn't know how to do vegetables because they were all paper agriculture, not hands-on agriculture. So our students set up the whole system for them. See, all of this. And the professor said, don't apply anywhere else, come to us. So these are hands-on activities. And then two people asked, can your kids get into university? I said, if they go and come up stupid, why would you want to go? But one university, several, but this one ranks at university, gave 10 students a chance. Instead of going on mark, they went on interview. They asked students many questions to see what sort of reaction and answer they had. And they were satisfied, they gave to 10. And this is what happened. 8 of the 10 had very high marks. 5 of the 8 were proven to first-class honors. So in other words, they know how to do it. Got very good replies from the reports from the university professors saying that they're very hardworking, they're always on time, they're very mature, and they know how to get things done. We didn't teach them how to memorize things. We taught them how to look for things and to concentrate on self-help. And then finally, this is what the UN said. The UN went to the school and done it and said this to us. We were very, very, very honored to have been given this recognition by the UN. And this is they gave us the reason why they recognize us. We work with students in the villages and so on and so forth. So what we're going to do as of February onwards, bring the kids from Buriram to Pattaya for 2 weeks. We have a campus here, classrooms and vegetable garden and so on. So we would like to, we did it with Pattaya Expat before, whereby every Wednesday, anyone who was free came for a free lunch. And one person, one expat with 3 students sitting on the same corner, eating together and chatting. And so we can even do this and follow it up with Stuart doing the dental floss after the meal with Viravaidya expat lunch. So whatever else you would like to do, the students would be very happy. For instance, they'd be happy on a Sunday, come and help serve things for you. What would you like them to do? I'd like you to meet them. If there's anything you can do with them to make your life more fun and to make theirs more worthwhile, I'd be delighted. So that's the last slide, I believe. Yes, that's the view of the swimming pool. So if they have any questions or suggestions, I'd be delighted to hear and try to answer. Thank you.
Any questions for Guru Mechai?
I noticed that you had basically a goat farm. Have you thought of producing yogurt and goat's cheese as well?
There are many things that can happen. We need suggestions and minds and hands with people who can help. We're open to everything. That is not illegal. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, I think all of us can probably agree that what you've shown us today is amazing Thailand. You know, I've never seen anything like this. I do have one question. A graduate of a bamboo school, will they be driving a motorcycle or motorbike responsibly? Because the reason I say this is because when I was trained in the U.S. Air Force, the training that they gave us, electronics and so forth, one thing that they made us go through was like 3 or 4 times through a driver's safety course in order to protect the asset, so we didn't go out and get killed, on the highway. So every one of these students is an asset to Thailand, and I think they need to protect themselves on the highways.
Thank you. We're very, very strong on this. We have policemen to come inside the school, teach our kids how to ride a motorbike and go according to law too. We use the dome for a lot of lessons. And also we have a golf cart that we teach the kids how to drive first, then onto a real vehicle. I think it's the only school that I know of, secondary school, that teach kids how to drive and how to go by law. So we work with the Thai Institute of Justice also on these things. So rule of law is a very important part of our belief. We're just about to begin this year in partnership with Volvo for road safety along 2 districts in front of our school and villages and where the schools are. Again, on your very point about road safety with motorcycle, with drinking and so on, but road safety to obey the law and so on. And we want our area to be very, very adhesive, actively involved in road safety and so on. And there'll be some crossings on the road with Volvo sign and so on. So this is what we're working on. And I think it's very important that in all the schools we're involved in, I'd like to add these things into it. And I just mentioned that the Prime Minister has now agreed, has asked, there's a committee he's appointed, he chairs, I'm part of it, to get 77 schools this year, turn existing government schools into this. In other words, asking the private sector to go and operate a government school using government budget, and they're relaxing rules and regulations